Hi everyone, it's Michelle, the dietetic intern here, and today's video is on how I shoot these overhead food tutorials that we post on the Instagram and Facebook pages. So let's begin with the setting up process. As you can see here, I am putting my phone through the clamp. Right now I'm using a crane tripod, but you'll be using a scissor arm kind of mount, I guess. But the same attachment for the phone is going to be the same. So before I even put my phone onto the mount, I did set my phone on airplane mode and I turn off the Wi-Fi because in the middle of you filming, you don't want to be interrupted because you can lose your footage or what have you. So be sure to just turn off all like kind of communications, and you can still use your phone. So as far as orientation goes and setting up the camera itself, you want to look at your phone screen from above. So obviously you want your back of your phone facing the stove, and most of the time your front screen camera is going to be way better than your front camera. And also if you have your screen facing down, you can't see from above. So you always want to have it faced up when you're mounting it. And then when you orienting the setup, you just want to make sure that it's as symmetrical as possible. The lines are lined up with everything's just parallel, and you just want the whole thing to be aesthetically pleasing. I also want to go over one more thing. As a director, you are responsible for directing who the cook is. So you want to lay out all the expectations at first. I had asked the cook to present the food in front of the camera first before pouring it in for like a second or so. And then one mistake that I did was I forgot to tell them to, once they pour in the food, to remove the empty container out of the frame. It's just to keep the area clean, very crisp looking. So be sure to give really clear instructions. And so, because you have all these ideas in your head, but because you didn't verbalize them, there's sometimes could be a miscommunication, and the video might not turn out the way you want it. So be sure to give really clear instructions and lay out all the expectations out first before filming. So the next thing we're going to go over is some mistakes to avoid. So you are the director. You are responsible for making sure everything's in the shot. So things that need to be open are already unlidded, or if it's a can, the can's open already and presented into the frame. So it's your responsibility to go over the recipe and make sure every single thing is in the frame, obviously. So that's one mistake that I made in the beginning. I really just glimpsed through the recipe, but I did not make a checklist of what needed to be in the recipe itself. So there was some stuff that was off frame and was presented into the soup later on, but it was not on display. So one of the traits of filming a really good food recipe is just knowing what is expected, right? So just make sure that all the food is in the frame, it's unlidded, it's nicely presented, it's in nice containers, and it's just generally very pleasing to the eye. Alrighty, well, that concludes the first part. We are now going to move on to part 2. This will be in a separate video, so be sure to click the following link and let's move on.